was like, man, you need to build a money tree. You need to plant a money tree. And, you know, I went and got an actual money tree, like a bonsai plant, right? Not thinking, but it was like, my backyard is my money tree.
Yeah, it is.
I could wake up any day. I could get on right now and say, I'm going to do a show in the backyard tomorrow, and it's sold out.
Big Boy's Neighborhood, beautiful day in the neighborhood, ladies and gentlemen. Lord knows I've been waiting on this one, man. LaRussell, welcome to the neighborhood, bro.
Come on.
Hey, man, let me tell you, bro, I am a fan first, bro. Your energy and just your hard work, dude, I'm telling you, you are an inspiration.
Come on.
And I can say to many, you are an inspiration to me, bro. And I've never looked at any of your material, social media, anything that you put up as far as verses. I've never looked at you and been like, what is he doing? It's always, man, and you can tell you work hard, bro. You work hard. So first off, welcome to the neighborhood, man.
Man, I am honored and grateful. This is a big one.
Man,
this is a big one.
I've been waiting on this too. And we've been talking, and even last year, man, I saw you at the TDE Christmas, right?
Yeah.
And even last year, I was like, bro, I got to get LaRussell in. You know, is LaRussell your real name?
Yep.
Why did I know that?
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? And there's so much I want to talk to you about, man. For one, I know that you just extremely talented. I can see that, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, had you always been that guy with music or writing or just, you know how some people say, I knew I was going to do something? Was that you?
I didn't know, but I always knew I was better than, like, my peers because when I finally, like, got into battles and stuff at school, it was like,
yeah, it was different.
A world of difference, right? But I never knew or thought that I was gonna like make it.
Right. You just knew as peer chops, you was like, oh, I got them.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
and that was good enough.
That's
right?
the exact same thing that J. Cole just said in his new audio series.
Inevitable?
Yeah, then he said when he was in high school, he was rapping, and then he realized that he was just better than his peers. When it came to battle rap,
it's like you just hit this thing, and it's not braggadocious. Yeah. It's just self-awareness.
Right?
Yeah, man. So even before that, had you always, like, was music always around you?
Yeah, you know, my mom and pops was always slapping. I'm really cultured. Like, we grew up, you know, on the fights, the TV in the front yard, everybody over, dogs in the backyard chain. Like, I grew up really cultured, and my mom used to always watch, like, the Up in Smoke DVD and all these concert DVDs. So I was just kind of immersed in it just naturally
so
before
you grew
I even wanted to be a rapper.
Yeah, before you even knew what it was, as far as, like, this is what I want to do, you just knew that you had it around you.
In it.
Yeah, man. So when do you go from just like listening and watching DVDs and you know what I'm saying, and mom's kind of putting you on really because that's tuition into the school of experience.
Right. When
do you go and say, man, I think I can do this? How young are you?
I first started writing at like 7.
Was that poetry or just writing?
It started as like little notes.
Right.
Honestly, just like little notes. And then at 7, I remember my sister used to always play Nuck If You Buck and like rap over the song. And she was like, you should write something and rap, right? So we both wrote something and went and recited it to my mama and my cousin. And they was like, oh, that's cool. But it never like pushed me to be like, I'm going to be a rapper or nothing. I just kind of kept writing from that point. And then by the time I got to high school, middle school,
were you writing raps or were you writing rhymes?
So
where the words just rhyme, you know what I'm saying?
I never knew how to write songs back then, but I was a big Lil Wayne fan, so I just had a notebook full of bars, just one-liners. Like my entire verse was just bar, because I didn't know how to write a
structure.
Song. So I'd have 16, and it's just bars. It didn't make no sense. It was like no song, no story, no nothing.
But how
just
young
bars.
are you at this time?
This is like 7th, 8th grade, you know, that I started really getting to the right. I started off producing first. I seen a video of Kanye West on YouTube making a beat, and I was like, man, I want to produce. My sister's boyfriend at the time came and put FL Studio on my computer, and I was making beats. I used to make beats for some of the homies at school and all of my early beats.
So this is destiny. You know, without even saying it, this is like destiny, bro. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, it's crazy because I see your hard work. And there's one thing about people, I say, man, you probably could such and such me, but you're not going to outwork me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Or you're not going to out-entertain me. There's just some certain things that you know, like, bro, this is just what I do. And it's not about bragging or, boasting on yourself, but it's like, man, this is just what I do. You know, were you ever part of a group, LaRussell?
I was several.
Yeah.
So when early on, I was like scared to drop solo music. So I would only release music with the homies or with friends. I'd always try to find somebody to kind of partner with to share my art.
Yeah. Hey, man. And when you, so first off, Vallejo.
Yeah.
There's a lot of skin in the game with Vallejo.
Come on.
And then there's also, man, there's a standard. You know what I'm saying? And you have, I'm pretty sure, even with people that's from Vallejo, you've met that standard. You know what I'm saying? Was that important to you with all the greats that came before you?
Yes and no. I was just really focused on doing my thing. Like early on, it's funny. I thought that I was going to have to move because, people say, like, you got to move out of your home and you got to get away from that to really get embraced. And I thought my city wasn't embracing me earlier, but I just wasn't giving them enough to embrace. Some people want their city support, but they don't support their city to gain that support,
But a lot of people don't understand that either, though. You know what I'm saying? They rather blame it on the boogie or blame it on something else than blame it on themselves.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And even that realization is hard. When you say, well, maybe I'm not doing enough. Because some people don't want the work too, LaRussell.
And that's all it was. I wasn't doing enough to gain the support that I thought I deserved.
Do you feel like you do a lot now? Like, when you say I wasn't, doing the work to gain, do you feel like you're doing it a lot now and you still don't gain the respect?
No.
Yeah,
I feel like now I get everything I work for.
Yeah. Boom. Everything I work for.
And anything I ain't got, I know I ain't worked for it yet.
Damn.
You heard?
Hey, man, that's powerful. Hey, dude, you're going to see interviews with me. You'll be like, Big, got that from me. like, when I was in there, that's exactly what hey, man, but I pay it back to the community, as E40 would say. I pay it back. You know what I'm saying? And so now when I see just even with social media, bro, and I know I'm jumping around, but how many albums or EPs or in total do you really have, bro?
On DSPs, I'm at like 35. In life, like since high school and everything, I probably got like 42.
Hey, man, you know what's crazy? Every time I see you on social media, I'm like, this dude is doing a new song.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying?
Catch that?
Yeah, and I'm like, man, and I'm going to tell you straight up, bro, there's times when I'm like, what's the name of this one? And I even went in, man, and when you was like, oh, we got royalties, I went in on the royalty.
I love it.
Because I just loved what you were doing, and I was like, man, I got to support this. I got to support this. And your energy, LaRussell, is unmatched. And I even told Ani, I said, dude, this dude energy, there's no way in the world that this dude can't make you smile. Smile brings smiles. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And when I look at you, even if I'm looking, dude, I'm smiling as I'm just watching what you do.
Feel it through the phone.
1,000,000,000%, bro.
Come on.
And was that by design? But that's just you. This isn't.
Yeah, those are the things that you can't even you don't really get to determine who you are. When you walking in your light, like you could try to act as if you any other way, but once you in your path, you don't get to have no determination in that. Like I love what I do. So naturally, like I'd be excited. You feel me? Like, and I'm not the person who be excited and try not to smile. Like, I'm in a point in my journey where it's like, I work for this.
Yeah,
I'm a
man.
cheese.
Hey, man, what did you do before? And sometimes, man, hip hop, rap, entertainment, it don't pay the bills. You know what I'm saying? Now creatively, there's certain things that we can do, and we'll speak on that. But what were you doing before before this hip hop thing? What was the job?
Man, I worked for UPS. I worked for FedEx. I worked for
you just switching
winery.
sides, huh?
Yeah,
you did with UPS and FedEx.
Hey, go where the money at.
Yeah.
I worked for a winery, and then I worked in a aerospace plant. And it's really dope because all of those jobs gave me experience that I utilize today in my hustle that I didn't even understand.
Right.
Like I was always every job I started in on a lower level and was able to scale up really fast because I learned everything and I get really good at it. And then next thing you know, I'm moving and I've been able to take that into rap and hip hop. I utilize the same hustle. I was always working 12, 15-hour shifts and just grinding it out to get to where I wanted to be. And back then, I put rap to the side for a while after high school because I had a child and it was just like, I'm going to
real
work
life
and I'm going to
kick
figure
in,
it out, exactly. And it took me a while to get back to the space where I remembered my love for music and it was like, this is what I want. And I made a promise to myself when I left my job. I said, I'm going to work as hard, if not double, the amount of time I work here for myself, or I'm gonna go back to work.
I heard that. How old were you when you had your little one? Are you
17.
17.
Wow.
Hey man, that's real life. You know what I'm saying? Like that's real life,
Right.
bro. And anybody that got kids, you understand, man, that is the most important job that you would ever have in your life. That and God willing, you know, if you're a real parent, you don't clock out. You know what I'm saying? There's no clocking out on that one, man. So when you say you kind of left music, that was real life where you gotta, you know, it's like now you raising human beings and you got real mouths to feed.
Man, and you don't even, at 17, you're not even fully cognizant of the power of that role. You know, like you're
I know
still
I wasn't.
figuring out at all. You know, and I had a lot of moments to where I had to really like find myself and refine my power. And it's so dope with my daughter. Like we have a dope relationship because I've been able to explain like humanity to her, and that it's like, yes, I'm your father, but I'm also a human who has a life prior and outside, and we get to learn together and grow together. And she asks really insightful questions, and it's just like,
awesome.
you know, like I don't have the style of parenting that's like based on enforcement. It's such a you know, it's like ask anything, whatever, let's figure it out.
Was that scary for you at an early age?
For certain.
Yeah.
Man, it was like a traumatic experience because, you know, as a kid, you don't want to have a kid.
Right.
And you're not accountable at all. You know, like I felt like her mother was doing something to me, and
Right.
it was like she's done nothing to me but be a great person.
But at
you know?
that time,
right? You
hell
lack
yeah.
accountability at that time.
I can't tell you, LaRussell, I couldn't imagine somebody saying at 17, you're going to be a father. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't imagine. And
Right.
that right there, but that do change. Like with me with radio, right? I've been in radio 30 years. And I had gotten in, I was able to crash the car, do certain things before my kids came. And it's crazy because I felt like, okay, now I'm ready to have the kids. Having kids also changed your life. And you saw that early on at 17, where it's like, I got this love of music, but having a child kind of changes your life. You know what I'm saying? And now it even changed your life for a different kind of hustle. But at 17, it's like, I can't do this. You know what I'm saying? I can't do. So you start working.
Right.
What did you do for UPS?
I was a driver helper during the season. Man, and it's so crazy. My driver at that time, he really took a liking to me because I was like a hustler, and we used to be on the route. The whole time I'm in my phone writing raps. Beats in my headphones, writing raps.
Did you know what you were doing, though? Like, because you're working.
I just enjoyed it.
Right.
It was just like, that's how I passed time and like alleviated stress.
Gotcha.
And it was funny, like we'd get out, I'd go to the back of the truck and sort the whole line just so it was easier for me when we hop out. I'll run to the house, drop the pay, hop back in the van. You know, like I was working harder than most people work in that position.
You've had some people like, man, slow down a little bit, bro.
Right.
Like slow down.
Get some overtime here.
Yeah.
Come on.
And what about FedEx? Pretty much the same.
I was loading trucks at FedEx, stacking trailers. And that was another thing that I end up taking, like, I'm the one over there trying to get the most packages in this trailer possible. You
I
feel
heard
me?
that,
like,
man.
That
so when
was
we
just
all trying to kick it, you like, so that's one of them things, man. If I did this for you, can you imagine what I'm going to do for myself?
The overachiever.
And look, I came to that realization because when I got to aerospace, I got in through like a temp agency. So I was just working on the floor in the packaging department, right? And for years, they used to have a process. They'd have to like stencil and spray paint all these. It used to take a long time to get product out because of the process. One day I just read all the standards, and I figured out that you could get like this military grade label on this certain machine, and you could replicate the stencil with that instead. We were getting things out faster than they've ever done. And it changed the future of the company, but I didn't even realize it at that time. I'm just working.
Yeah, you just gave it to them.
I'm just going.
Wow.
Yeah, you're trying to make your job easier.
Like I haven't been at that job for the past 5-6 years, and they're still doing something that I found out and implemented. They would have still been using the old way. It's like I never got compensated for that. It was just like they treated me like I was a leader in the start because they knew, but I didn't understand my value and worth back then to be like, I just changed the trajectory of this company.
Hell yeah, man. And they still using it today.
They're going to be using it for the next
Forever.
20, 30 years.
But yeah, and like I say, LaRussell, that's tuition into the school of experience. Like, okay, now I know. Now I know that.
Man.
Yeah, man. So when you do step out on faith, even if you can't see the whole staircase, bro, when you say I got a job, maybe you got benefits, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You getting a paycheck and you doing both things kind of at the same time. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure, like you say, you're in a truck, you writing raps, but then it got to get a little bit more serious than that. You know, when do you step out on faith? How scary was that when you said, I got to put it all on me?
Man, I was working all while I was throwing my first shows. My first album, my first shows, I was still working a year and a half in. So my job was funding my marketing, my ads, everything I wanted to do. I was taking that paycheck and putting it in. It finally got to a point where, like, it was just too conflicting for me to be at work because I needed to use the time to, like, really build and cultivate what I wanted. And I got to a point where, like, I was so great at my job that I would be using company time to do my thing. And I didn't like how that made me feel because it's like, man, I could just be home doing my thing.
Right.
And I remember it was around, like, tax season. And me and my daughter's mom had a conversation. And we was both like, man, we finna go on our job tomorrow and quit. And I went in the very next day. I wrote my note. And I went to talk to my boss and was like, man, I'm gone. I'm finna go after it. And I remember he was like, what are you going to do? And I was like, I'm finna make it. And that was it. That was my last time.
Did you have anyone, LaRussell, that told you either through the process, like, man, I don't know, bro, like, you know what I'm saying, like
me? Me. I told me that, you know, there was several instances. I was like, I'm finna go back to work. Man, I had applied to a job one time and I got the job and I ain't take it. I only applied because I was like, I just want to make sure I could still go get something if I needed to. And once I got the offer, I was like, nah, I gotta keep going
Hey,
after
man,
it.
did you almost put it in hoping you didn't get it?
Yes.
Yeah. And then when it got it, it was like, damn, another decision I gotta make.
It was like enlightening for me because it showed me, it was like, man, I'm me. I can get whatever I go after. It ain't no way I wasn't going to get the job. I've never walked in a job interview and not got the job.
Right.
You know, like, it was just a re-realization of who I was in my power, and it was like, man, keep going. And the universe kept aligning things for me to keep going. I remember after I quit my job, like, I was running low. You know, the tax money only lasts so long. And I had ended up getting a call from from the HR, and she was like, you know, you got some 401k money here. You're going to probably need that. And it was like, wow, boom. Yeah. The universe gave me another thing to keep running a little bit more, and stuff just kept happening to allow me to continue on my path.
Hey, man, you are totally an outside the box thinker too. You know how you'll see people and you'll say, man, when Jeff Bezos did this, when Steve Jobs or somebody started to, like, people don't believe. You know what I'm saying? Or you think some people just think different. You're like, damn, how did they do that? But it's like, you're not thinking like that. And then when I see you with the backyard residencies, when I see everything that you put up, I'm like, people, I'm telling you, LaRussell, and you know it too, man, people don't want to work that hard.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And people not thinking outside the box. A lot of people, so it's got to be not easier, but it's got to be kind of, easier for you to compensate because you doing what others won't do. You know what I'm saying? Like the backyard residency, when I saw you building that stage, I was like, what the fuck is he about to do?
Shoveling dirt.
Yeah. So explain the backyard
dirt.
Residency for those that don't know.
Man, we built a venue in my backyard. You know, I had through a show in Oakland, and it was like my first time implementing Proud to Pay. I was really like new to, like, man, I'm gonna allow people to pay what they want for the experience. And I remember the owner called me like the day of the show or day before and was like, I don't know if this is going to work. I'm taking a chance on just a bunch of negativity after the show's coming up. And I was just like, the feeling that he put in me about what I was building made me feel so sour that I was like, man, I'm never going through that again. I'm finna build my own venue.
I heard
that. Very next day, I was like, man, we flipping the backyard. I talked to my mom, and the next day we was back there with dirts and wheelbarrows and shovels.
Hey, man, when you say you talked to your mom, what does that mean?
I went to my mom and said, hey, we finna flip the backyard so I can throw
Is this
shows
her
back
house?
Here. Yep.
I didn't know it was mom's house, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, my. Because I remember at one point on social media, you were just talking about the dream of it. And I'm like, yeah, all right, go ahead, man.
It's my childhood home.
it's the childhood.
It's my
Hey,
childhood
dude,
home.
and just for that, I know there's got to be like a ring of protection that's around that too. Where I'm pretty sure nothing goofy happens.
Man, the
you
whole
know,
community, the whole hood, it really is that. It's a safe zone, and it's crazy because before I did that, I was like writing. I always write things in my notes of like what I want, and it was like in my head a lot during that time. It was like, man, you need to build a money tree. You need to plant a money tree. And you know, I went and got an actual money tree, like a bonsai plant, right? Not thinking, but it was like my backyard is my money tree.
Yeah, it is.
I could wake up any day. I could get on right now and say I'm gonna do a show in the backyard tomorrow, and it's sold out. And I can
and
go
what
get the
sell
money
out?
I need.
How many people?
I could fit 250 back there.
Hey, man, you know what's crazy about that, bro, is when you say backyard residency, right? That's another way that I just think because you said that the promoter made you feel a certain way. And it's crazy because I tell people as well when something happened and we just went through something, I told my team, I said, remember what that felt like. So no one can make you feel like that again. Remember what that felt like.
Yeah.
And that's what I do, LaRussell. So I'll tap in, I say, and I even tell my producer, I say, man, remind me, or my wife, remind me what that feeling felt like, just in case. You know what I'm saying? But we wait on the promoter, the shows, you know, we wait on a residency.
Yeah.
Those kind of things, man. You're like, nah.
Build it.
All artists, like I completely changed the infrastructure totally because generally as an artist, you have to wait to be booked.
Yeah.
You got to wait for these festivals to reach out. They may never. And I went around that. Like, I do direct bookings. I'm one of the only artists at my size that you could hit me straight
Right. You be like,
and
hello?
say, hey, I got this. I got, you know, exactly. We picking up and we pulling up. And it's changed my career because I'm booked by the people. Generally, someone would have to wait for a Coachella or a Bottle Rock or one of them. I get booked by the people all year, and they treat me so well. Sometimes promoters will treat you like crap because they like, man, I just need you to sell these tickets. But the people who love you, oh, man, they booking you and they taking care of you to the point because it's bigger than the booking for them. They like, I really love you.
Yeah,
Them
man.
promoters don't love you. They just trying to figure
It's
out who's going to
numbers.
sell them. That's it.
Yeah.
So we bypass that and go straight to the people, which led to the promoters wanting us because they like, man, you building so much buzz. How could I not book you?
Right. Hey, man, that backyard residency,
Yeah.
that's ridiculous, bro.
Historic.
Now, what about the neighbors? Yeah, because I would think, man, all the neighbors got to be down too because you messing up street parking. You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, man, LaRussell, please.
Oh, God.
But how are the neighbors with you?
Man,
and everybody's living this dream with
It's
you
my
too.
childhood home. I grew up on this street, so it's like we've been here the longest. When new neighbors come, they like, bruh, that's LaRussell. Like, you know, we had a new neighbor recently, and his son be in the backyard with us. He own now. He be
Yeah,
in the
man.
videos and everything.
Hey,
You
man,
know,
there
the other
was-
neighbors on the fence, and it's everybody's welcome. Like, my neighbors is family. They like, if y'all want to come witness and observe, pull up.
Backyard. Have we ever heard of backyard residency before? Yeah.
This new. And it's crazy because throughout my journey, I've just taken things that's always existed in the hood but wasn't marketed as
Right.
such. All while I was growing up, we was in the backyard
Yeah,
booking.
man.
My parents always had people over
Hell
in the
yeah.
backyard. You
I was
feel
the
me?
backyard DJ.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
We was doing comedy shows in the backyard, so
Yes.
it's always been that. I just made something that's always been marketable. It's the same with when we do offer based and proud to pay. We always
Yeah,
been
man.
outside like, hey, this 20. If somebody say, hey, I ain't got 20, I got 15, I'm gonna take 15
Right,
then.
yeah.
This has always been our thing. We just put marketing and branding around it.
Yeah, hey man, this is that one thing where other people got to look at this and see like, man, this is genius.
Come on.
You know, but it also, bro, you got to take a chance on yourself. And some people just don't bet on themselves.
Man.
And not that that's a bad thing. It's just that some people just don't.
And that's been my inception into the game. Like my very first show I threw it myself. So from 2018 till current day, my first thought is to throw my own show. Like from then till now, I've thrown all my own shows. We own our own ticket and infrastructure. You know, like I've done $1 million in show revenue through throwing my own shows. So I don't really. It took me to make it to realize like, oh, people gonna try to book you and you got to go through all these processes. I'm always like, why would I give it to them if I can just go through? You know, we have meetings with like different companies, Live Nation, everybody, and we're always in a back and forth. Not really a back and forth, but I'm always explaining to them, like, it doesn't make sense for me to do that venue with that deal because I can go throw my own show and make this, so where's the benefit? You know, but a lot of artists don't know that, so they go give away they show rights and they merchandise rights and they publishing and everything because they've never even tried to do it themselves to see what the outcome would be.
Hey man, I love like I said, I'm skipping around. Even on your NPR performance, right?
Yeah.
I love a few days later after it came out, you were like, yeah, and I'm selling the jacket.
Hey,
my man was like 1-on-1, and I'm sitting here like, dude, I want that fucking jacket. Right? Yeah, man.
Man, we did 2 runs of it. They both sold out within hour, 2 hour, and then the one that I wore, I auctioned off.
Yeah, man.
So what I do, like a couple years ago, I start auctioning off my microphones. Whenever I have a big show, I'll auction the microphone off. I've auctioned microphones for $5,000, $7,000. It's like you're able to get revenue to somebody. That's something, you know, someone who's in a career early who knows. Like, imagine having a mic that Hove used at the Garden, and you know, there's a bunch of people who that value of it, that's Michael Jackson glove. Yeah. And I start seeing the value in these things early. So for me, the jacket was just like, I know this is a special piece for somebody.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
History,
Genius.
bro.
You heard?
Yeah. Hey, man, but you know what I love about it too, man, is that you invite so many people on the journey.
Yes.
And it's crazy because I get people that listen to me on air, right? And they'll walk up to me because what they hear on air. They'll walk up there, start laughing, or, you know, like I'm approachable.
Yeah.
And I feel that same thing with you, bro, is that you're just approachable.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't imagine walking up to you and you not being who I saw, you know, on social media, who I saw at a show. Like, that would F me up, man.
It would break your heart.
In a major way.
Right?
Because even when you just shoot a video and you like walking down the street, I'm like, I love this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And then when I see you, you know, doing your shit, I'm like, man, this dude is they say, man, there's some people that just energy gods. And you one of them energy gods, bro. Like, I know that people could be going through something and they get in that backyard or they get to one of your shows, bro. And I know that you changed the way people feel.
And, you know, we started adding a testimonial portion to the backyard. So throughout the show, I passed the mic around and I just asked people what it feels like to be in this space. And so many people cry and just share, like, what they going through and why they there. And it's like, I don't have, like, my show is really a community show. I've even built a new style. Like, I put my stage in the center and I built the sound around the crowd. So it feels like everyone's in this one show and everyone's a part of it. The people, I don't have a set list ever.
Yeah.
The crowd get to choose the songs that we perform and they come up and do testimonies, and some people get to rap, some people get to do poetry. It's just one big community show.
Yeah, these are like moments.
That's dope.
Yeah, these are like moments and experiences as opposed to like a concert or, oh, he did I saw him, you know, and I'm pretty sure that there's somewhat of a structure to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you got to come in, you got it, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But everyone has, like, what you see one day, you probably may not see it.
Never. That's why we have recurring fans. Like, I'm able to sit in my backyard and keep doing it over and over because people fly in, and then half of the people just come back. It's like church. They come every week. They come every week because they know they'll never get the same experience.
Hey, man, I saw one where it was a kid with special needs. Yeah. And his dad was like, you know, he's special needs. So, and man, as soon as you start rapping and he was rapping with you, I was like, dude, this is the power that we supposed to have as human beings. Not just as artists, but as a human being. Man, that's a father that you gave his son so much enjoyment. Yeah. And the little girl that you handed the mic to in the backyard and you let her go, and he was like, hold on, I'll do this part because there was a little bit of cursing. But she was out there like getting it. Man, that's energy that you remember what someone made you feel like when you were younger or even now. You remember what someone made you feel like. And they're going to remember that.
It's so much depth to those moments. Like, I don't do anything for social media. Right. I literally just document my life and we share what happens. Like, BJ, the kid with the autism, like, that's the homie now. Like, when I see him at the shows, he knows.
So it wasn't one and done.
No, and Avery that grabbed the mic, I go play pickleball with her family now. Like,
you
know.
LaRussell, are you playing pickleball?
Yeah, come on. Man. And tennis, I get busy. But, you know, like, it's real depth to it. Like, when I take a liking to people, or it's just like, man, I
Right.
rock with it. I'm in and I'm invested. It's not just like a stunt.
Right. And it's not because, I want people to see this. Like, that's you. That's in the bone marrow. Explain Good Company to me.
You heard?
Yeah, man.
Come on, man. Good Company.
And tell them how it's spelled.
Yeah, COMPENNY. You know, like a penny.
Yeah,
you know?
man. So explain that to us.
Man, Good Company is special to me. It's something that I've been dreaming and bringing into fruition since like 2014. And I chose penny because pennies is like, if you walking and you see $100 bill on the ground, you're going to stop and pick it up.
Right.
You see a penny, you'll just walk right past it. But imagine if you picked up every penny that you walk past throughout your life. You'd have just as much as if you was picking up them dollars.
Hell yeah.
There's plenty of them, you know? And it was just like a play on words then. And I just wanted to build something that felt representative of the industry and culture that I wanted to exist in. I wanted to build infrastructure that I didn't have. And that's what I've done through Good Company. Like when we find artists we love and moments that we love, we really bring it in and embrace it and cultivate and share it to the world. You know, my little brother Malachi just had a big viral moment. And that's
right.
We found him when he was 14 and just took him under and was like, man, just come with me everywhere. When I get opportunities and plays, I share it with him. Shantae, Tieta, like.
Why is that important, though? Because, you know, usually a lot of people are eyeing me or let me get in. And people even fake you out and say, man, let me get in. Then when I get in, you know, everybody will come in. Why is it so important that you share all that with them right now?
Because I don't know if later exists.
Mm.
Like, it just has to be done. That's just the kind of person I am. Like, I'm one of the artists where you know the people around me. You know, even if a lot of artists, you don't know the team. Sometimes you don't even know if they have a team. But with me, it's like, even if you don't know their name, you've seen them. You know, I make sure that they're prepared. When I met Tieta, I was telling her, like, this is going to be your role and your title, and people going to respect you as this and see you as this. And she didn't know. She didn't do anything in the music business. Like, everything that she's learned to get to this point is stuff that we learned together and books that I showed her and game that I gave, you know. But I seen the vision early, and I try to brand everybody and give everybody an opportunity. I tell them, like, I don't want nobody to work for me forever. I don't want to take care of nobody forever. I want you to be able to stand beside me and we all go get it.
Right, I'm teaching you how to fish. And then, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, man, you said, I don't know if later exists. That's powerful, bro. That's powerful. So powerful, man. Have you said that anywhere else? I'm taking that. No, but dude, when you said that, I was like, I don't know if later exists because
so true,
man. Like with me, I'm a procrastinator. That's with therapy and everything. I know that. You know, as much as people say, "Oh, Big, you work hard, you do this," I know that I could work harder and I can work smarter, and I can really work smarter. So when you say that, I don't know if tomorrow exists, bro. That hit me different. You know what I'm saying? And as many as the accolades or people see, you know, whatever I have. It's crazy that you said that, and I was like, that is real, bro. We wait thinking that there's tomorrows. Oh, I get to that. You know, there's a lot of people that's Monday people. I start that on Monday. And now towards the end of the year, you know what people saying now. At the top of man, January 1.
I bring everything to fruition. If I'm excited about it and it means something, like I say, my backyard, after that call, my backyard was flipped the next day. We're not waiting for nothing, you know, like I have to see it in the real world for it to be real for me. It's not real just living in my head.
Right. I love that you put it in the backyard as opposed to saying, man, I'm going to go get me a little warehouse. You know what I'm saying? Like the backyard. And my man said backyard residency.
Come on.
Because now residencies hold so much different kind of weight right now. I remember, man, when people went to Vegas, it was like you were burnt out. You were this, you were that. Now you see some of the biggest artists and people are like, oh, I got to get a residency. Yep. If it's not an artist, it's a DJ that got a residency. So when you say backyard residency, and then now when I see people that know the value of your backyard with Richie Rich coming through, you know, down there blowing his he's blowing out. You know, Juvie coming through, like people understand, like if you there and they touch turf, that backyard is going to mean something totally different to people. And
it's so dope. I be at the crib, like my window is the outside window.
So you wake up at the venue.
No. I come to it now.
Okay,
I used to though.
Yeah, hello.
But I be looking out the window, and you see 5-year-olds, 15-year-olds, and 10-year-olds, and 20-year-olds, and 30-year-olds, and 40-year-olds, and 50-year-olds, and 65-year-olds, and they all coming in like giddy and excited. And being able to see 65-year-old men coming
man.
in excited with their homies about something for hip hop is like the most fulfilling experience ever.
Man.
Like I see older men like get older and their like excitement and enthusiasm for life start to wither. I've witnessed it with my family and people around me. So to have something where I see them like jumping, like, you know, grown men leaving their feet.
Man, I saw a testimonial from an older gentleman, and he was like, I didn't know what to expect here today. You know what I'm saying? And people, they gotta not know what to expect. You know, and it's crazy, man, that you say you see people coming in to the backyard, but it's crazy because is that the same house you used to leave from to go to school, return back,
man,
cook your meal? You know what I'm saying?
Everything. And to see it go from that to this it's insane. It's absolute. It's always like when I used to wake up, I literally wake up and get ready and everything, and then it's like I'm walking from my bedroom to the backyard with a mic, and there's 250 people back there roaring. That's like a surreal experience. It feel like a movie every time.
You can never get used to that, huh?
Never.
Man, and you know what's wild about that, man, is knowing that that's home plate. You know what I'm saying? That's home plate, man. And just to say I'm flipping the backyard and then to see what it is, because we wait, you know, and we say, man, if I would have did that last year, where would I be now? If I would have did that 2 years ago, where you said you got up the next day because of feeling. Yeah, man. That's testimonial right there. There's a test in the testimony.
Yeah.
And I think your testimony is amazing, man. Now, the royalties that you have with anyone that want to get in.
Yeah.
I get royalty reports, you know what I'm
Come
saying?
on.
Like, and now explain that, man.
Man, so I had an idea that I was just like, man, it would be really dope for fans to be able to make money with the artists they love. And I was just thinking, like, I own so many pairs of Crocs. I was like, if I got paid a royalty every time I bought a Croc, that would be incredible. And it's like, yeah, you could buy Croc stock, which is one thing, but that doesn't account for all the times you support and you buy a pair of Crocs. But with this music, it's like people play my music every single day. I give them an opportunity to get paid with what they already doing. If you already slapping my music 10,000 times a year, you might as well get a little something from it too.
Right.
So we just made it. I was already giving royalties to my team and everyone who helps me with the music and the audio. And after, you always have a remainder, you know, and it was like, I don't need this much percentage for myself. I could sell some and I could give some away. And I created a whole nother asset and lane for myself. Every song that you create got 100%. I could sell every percent of that 100%. Imagine if I sold every percent for $1,000. That's $100,000 that I now don't have to go to a label to get because I created my own, you know, asset. And every time I make a song, I create a new asset. I got 35 albums. Every song is 100%. It's 7 songs minimum on each album.
Jesus.
Hey, man, why did you try the major route before? And you got tired of either waiting or dictated to?
I never fully tried it. I've always dabbled through like indie distros or indie players, and we got offers from the majors. But every time we get in these meetings, I get to talking like this, and it ain't too many responses for like why this makes sense and why this don't make sense.
Right.
You feel me? Nobody can make it make sense for me. And I don't think the majors is like every superstar that we know and love is signed to a major. I think they play a pivotal part and role, but we're in a time now where it's like it has to make sense as well. You know, you can't just lean on, well, we Kendrick is here and Cole is here and Drake is here. It's like it has to make more sense now. We're in a different era, and they can never really make it make sense for me.
Gotcha. And you know what's crazy about that too, LaRussell, is that I come from everybody, I got to get on Def Jam. I got to get on such and such.
Because
I gotta
it did
get on,
make sense back then,
It
right?
did.
Yep.
But now people are like, nah, I don't want to get on those. And no disrespect to the big brands, but now, like how you do it, man, if you take this device and you take your own, like, man, I can go straight to who my audience is, bro. And that's what I tell people as well. I would sit up, bro, and I would say, oh, man, I got to get a production deal, or I got to get a green light on this pilot. And it got to a point where I was like, man, F it. You know, I got 1.5 million subscribers on my YouTube, and my YouTube is my television studio. It's my production studio.
Yes.
I can release when I want. I can, you know what I'm saying? I don't have to take it to somebody else, because what happens a lot of times, and you know this too, you can put your blood, sweat, and tears and do all the work, and then you got to go hand it to somebody else. And if they're not feeling the same thing you are, which I'm pretty sure nobody gonna match your energy the way you know what I'm saying? It'd be hard to find another you.
Right.
I do it myself. You know what I'm saying?
And you know, that's the thing, like on this end, but major still like win because they still make sense for some people. Like you think the major allows you to have one moment and really like propel. Like we seen Tommy Richmond get $1 Million Baby, and without that major funding of seeding and throw it here and get the influencer marketing and campaigns, like as an indie, I pay for all my own ads and influencer marketing and seeding. And eventually it'll hurt you if you're not able to get it in the right spot, but they're able to take it straight to radio and all that. So the majors make sense for certain artists who's like, may not want to do all the extra work or all the things that come with it, but for the people who are willing to build that infrastructure, it just don't make no sense to give somebody all of your money for all the work that you're doing.
Yeah. and it's crazy, man, because we used to think back in the day, like, oh man, they on the independent because they can't get a major.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's the same thing with radio, entertainment, whatever. People like, oh man, they got a podcast because they can't get on FM. Now there's people that got podcasts that don't want a radio show.
Nope.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And you know, that theory is no knock to that because that's the inception. I'm independent because ain't nobody was trying to give me no deal at first.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like that is the inception of it. I wasn't able to get on the radio, so I started this.
Yeah, but
now the radio want me.
Yeah, as you know, here we are.
Right?
And that right there, man, that's the curse and the gift. Not the gift and the curse. You know what I'm saying? It's the curse and then the gift, and you rolled it out. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it as well, man, is that now people know how to approach you.
Yeah.
Because they know there's no okey doke. There's not like, especially when you go somewhere, you say, man, why would I do that? I could do that myself. Yeah, and it starts a whole different dialogue, man.
Sometimes it still don't.
Right.
They just, there's nothing they could do sometimes. Like I've had negotiations where I lay out plainly, like, this is what is necessary and needed. And you'll get that contract back and it's like, nigga, did you read anything that I sent you? You feel me? But it's because within the structure, it always has to be taken up to a level to where they like, no, that don't make sense for me. I don't get it.
Right.
You know, that's why I've gotten to this point now. I don't even really like talking to the people in between. It's like with the Rock Nation situation. My whole thing from the jump was like, if Hove want to sign me, let me talk to Hove.
Right.
Let him come holler. You feel me? Because I already know how the process could be diluted with the in between.
And then there's just sometimes where I'm like, man, you can't say yes. So why am I talking to you? You're going to take what I have, then you're going to do this, and then you're going to go over here.
Yeah.
And there's no way you could relay what I'm saying.
And with my
not with my passion and energy and intent.
Man. Yeah. Hey, man, and that's why sometimes I tell people, man, I can show you better than I can tell you. I can show you better than I can tell you. And I think that's you. I can show you better than and then my thing is this. All right, if I'm going to do it anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm going to do it anyway. So like if some, even with going back to the backyard residency, it's like, okay, if I can't get over there, you make him feel something like this, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to do it anyway. Right. You know what I'm saying? If the marketing ain't coming from such and such, I'm going to get it and I'm going to do it anyway.
You know, that's the way it's supposed to go. Like I've learned throughout this journey, a lot of my early deals, they didn't understand because I was asking for something I haven't proven or garnered yet.
Gotcha.
And I didn't get it. You know, I'm like, I'm not worth that. I should be getting this. And it's like, why? But after you go do it and you come back and say, oh, yeah, I already did $500,000 in revenue on my own, I'm not taking this. It's different.
Yeah.
A lot of people go ask before they actually show. But you're supposed to go show it before you go ask for it. Because then it make more sense.
Hey, man, I remember, and I don't want to call out any person's name or anything. You know what I'm saying? And plus, I'm forgetting the name anyway. But I saw this interview, and the person was talking about like $1 million and this, that, and they was like, and Vlad was like, well, you know, that's recoupable, and you got to pay this. And the artist didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm on, give me the money, give me this, give me that. And when it comes down to raw math, it's like, man, give me the minimum because I'm going to do the maximum investment for me.
Man, and that's
If
the
the minimum,
problem.
if at all.
This industry, I feel like anytime you give someone something without giving them all the information around it, like true nepotism is me not only giving you the money, but telling you how to use it. If I give you a tool, but I don't tell you how to use it, it's like me giving you a lawnmower and you've never used one, and I don't teach you how to start it, how to put the gas in, how you pull the string. None of that. Like, there's nothing you can do but not do the job that's supposed to get done. And that's what they do. And it shouldn't be that way. It should come with the practices. Like, I've had several artists I had to talk to where they like, man, my album did this, and they saying I'm still not recouped. And it's like, well, you recouping at this rate. So whatever they gave you, you have to make it through this rate. So if you in a 50-50 with recoupment and they gave you $1 million, you have to make $2 million.
Yeah, man.
That's like simple math that they don't even tell them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're not even, if it can help, then you're talking with, because you're not anti.
No.
It's got to just be right.
Yeah, originally I was anti, but I was just like, I was just young and not understanding, and I felt like they was all trying to prey on me.
Yeah,
because
woe is
I'd
me,
have
like-
a viral moment and my phone would start ringing, and then you don't hear nothing else, And I'm always like, if you love me and you want to help me, you're going to help me whether I sign a contract or not. If I see you bleeding out in the street, I'm not going to be like, sign this and I help you first. I'm going to help you because I feel for you and I want to help you. If I see you doing something dope, I'm going to help you. There's no artist that I've helped and I put on shows and put in position, get on big platforms. I ain't never took nothing from them because it's like I love it and I want to assist. If that intention was real, it wouldn't have never stopped if the contract didn't go through. You would just do it because you're like, man, I want to see you win.
Hey, man, your NPR Tiny Desk. We just had an artist in the neighborhood, and they told him, that he wasn't Tiny Desk worthy, which I thought was like crazy. You know what I'm saying? And then a week later, I see that you got it. What is that a phone call or how does that happen? Because Tiny Desk, man, that's a place where it doesn't validate anyone, but that's a place where I'm like, man,
I don't want to knock anyone's experience, but through my experience, I would have a very hard time believing that the team over at Tiny Desk told someone they weren't Tiny Desk worthy.
Wow.
Like, these are black people.
Yeah.
Behind this, black people who represent and feel the culture that I like. When you meet certain people, it's like, I wasn't Tiny Desk worthy per quota and credits and statistics. I was worthy through, bro, we have to do this. You know how special you are? Yeah. You go pull up that Tiny Desk page now, you're going to see artists you ain't never heard of. That they just like, nah, we like this. We think they deserve an opportunity. And they gave me an opportunity that they felt. It's not, I don't know if it's a thing of worthiness there. And I feel like sometimes things get misconstrued. Sometimes the message is, it's not the time yet. And you take that as a, niggas ain't fucking with me. They saying I'm not, but that don't be the messaging. You feel me? So I don't know how it came through or was relayed, but with the people that I got to meet and experience through Tiny Desk, I couldn't imagine. I had a time where it wasn't my time for Tiny Desk. We was pitching early. And it was like, not yet.
Yeah, and I even told the person that I'm speaking about, hella talented. And I thought, like, damn, man, I'm going to tell you, it knocked me off my square that they didn't get a Tiny Desk, which I thought was like low-hanging fruit. But I was like, man, I said, whoever, and we had this before this person came in. We had conversations where I was like, whoever is over at Tiny Desk right now, they got their finger on everything. Because I've been seeing Tiny Desk that's been going down, and I'm like, oh, man, this is us. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? This is almost like Jay-Z NFL Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I'm like, they understand us, bro.
Man, and Bobby and Alante over there take the culture serious. And that's why LaRussell was there independently from his backyard with no major backing, with no gold records, with no platinum singles, with no millions of streams, none of that. That's the only reason I was there, because he takes his role and what he has to do in the culture very, very serious. So, yeah, I don't know the situation with that, but I feel like how you respond warrants what opportunity opens up down the line. Because that might have been something where it's like, man, next year we was going to do that, but now you spoil the opportunity because you go out and you like, oh, niggas saying I ain't worthy and I ain't worthy. And it's like, man, that I had to learn early that that's not always the way to handle the situation. Sometimes you're not receiving what's being sent in the way that it's being sent. It's like if somebody's sending you something from an iPhone, you got an Android. Sometimes it just come up as an empty box, and you got to just interpret what it is. You know, I missed a lot of messages early, and I feel like I squandered opportunities because I responded so emotionally to something that wasn't what it was, but it was that to me, and I get it. I always understand that. But yeah, through that, my experience there and talking, I'm a good read of like humans. I know when somebody playing and when it's like, man, you passionate. This really means something to you. And man, that tiny desk that you talking about, I want to happen too.
Yeah, right.
And I think it's deserving. And I'm even aligning it for it to exist in my backyard. But it's like, I don't know if it was a thing of worthiness because we all know that that person is worthy. I think it's always a thing of like readiness and time. And sometimes it's not the time.
Man, well said, bro. How many raps do you think you have? How many songs? If you were to do your catalog right now.
So I did a pub deal about 2 years ago, and I had to submit like a discography for everything. And I think at that time, I submitted probably like 700 songs. 700, 800 2 years ago.
Jesus.
So I'm probably,
because you've been very active though.
Released probably 1,500 to 2,000, and then I got like man. What I'm coming with, I got about a vault of 1,000. That's like, man, you gonna get sick of seeing.
Do
me.
you ever forget your lyrics?
Yeah, all the time. I'm a human and I'm natural. That's the beauty of our shows. Like sometimes I forget lyrics and I had a crowd help me out and I get, Because there's times I literally see you record and you'll have your phone and I'm like, this dude is just busting this right now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Come on.
Yeah, bro. Like amazing. Amazingly talented, man. Now, before we get you out of here, man, you did something special for us. Yeah. In the neighborhood, man. Come on. So I'm gonna get everything prepared. And you're going to go ahead and knock that down for us.
Let's go.
All righty, y'all stick around, man. LaRussell in the neighborhood, Big Boy's neighborhood.